In this day and age, it is a sad fact that we must have concern for our children's safety when they are at school, not just from normal bullying that can affect their mental health, but also from uncontrollable acts of mentally unstable and mentally ill people that can affect their mental and physical well-being. More guns on school grounds by putting willing school officials through in-depth and intense firearm training could decrease the number of casualties or prevent these uncontrollable violent acts from terrorizing our children altogether. Most schools in the West Ada School District, the largest school district in Idaho, only have one armed SRO on each campus. Rocky Mountain High School, Mountain View High School are both examples of overcrowded high schools in the West Ada School District that only have one armed personnel. The SRO is the only armed personnel on the campus, and these SROs are also only on middle school and high school campuses. There are no armed personnel on elementary school campuses. The less armed people that there are on a campus, or if there is no armed personnel on a campus at all, then what is really stopping a mentally unstable or mentally ill person from walking into a school and shooting everyone that they see? Nothing. If there were more than one armed personnel on every campus at once, then it would deter the school shooter from an easy target. Wayne Lapierre argued in a speech to the Conservative Political Action Committee, our banks, our airports, our NFL games, our movie stars, they're all more protected than our children at school. We surround and protect so much with armed security while we drop our kids off at school at their so-called gun-free zones, end quote. Most parents would say that they would do anything to protect their children, yet they put their children in an unsafe and unprotected environment almost every day. People in today's society are more willing to put armed officials at a sporting event or protect a movie star that they don't even know than they are willing to protect their own children. The way that we can take a small step into protecting our children almost every day is putting more armed and well-trained and willing officials on elementary school, high school, and high school campuses. Now, Idaho isn't the most rural state, but we do have some schools on the outskirts of town. And many ask, how long does it take for the police to respond to places on the rural parts of the city? On average, it takes about 18 minutes for the police to be called and for them to respond. But the average school shooter only takes about 12 minutes. By the time that the police arrive to a school shooting, the damage has already been done, and there isn't anything that they could do to prevent it. Having just one armed personnel to defend and protect an overpopulated school full of students and staff for 12 minutes of live fire is not realistic. With more than one armed personnel, even if it's just one per wing versus one per the entire campus, there is a larger chance that the school shooter could be stopped before any casualties or before a larger number of innocent casualties happen. If adding more armed personnel does not deter a mentally unstable or mentally ill school shooter from attacking, then the next step is to protect. To protect the children, the staff as best as we can and as efficiently as possible. The armed staff on the campus must protect the students and the staff until the police force arrive to help stop the school shooter. During that time period of waiting for the police to respond, the people trapped inside shouldn't just be sitting ducks. They should be protected. Not only does adding more armed personnel and more armed trained personnel help deter a mentally unstable person from attacking, but it also helps protect the students and staff. Schools are now taking smaller steps into protecting the students and staff. Most West Ada schools have implemented a new security system that prevent unwanted people from entering the school campus without permission. All students must carry a school ID on them. To enter the school building from the outside, they must scan their IDs to unlock the door. If there is a visitor, they must buzz into the front office to get permission to enter the school building. Yes, these efforts are steps into the right direction, but what is preventing a mentally unstable student or staff from entering the school with a firearm and opening fire? Most SROs have at least one day off during the week. They are required to leave to other calls in the surrounding area. Students are normally aware of the SRO's hours, and they are aware of the days off. They are aware when the SRO will be gone. This isn't including the times that they're off campus responding to other calls. On the days that the SRO are gone, there isn't any armed personnel to protect the students and staff from a mentally unstable person that managed to get a gun inside the locked school. With just one armed personnel in the school, that leaves the students and staff vulnerable to attack with no one protecting them. Having a security system is a step in the right direction to protect our children, but arming and training other staff members on top of having a locked security system is just extra steps and extra precautions that needs to be taken to protect our people. On the other hand, people will argue it isn't a teacher's job to be armed and to protect the children. People will argue that the educational staff shouldn't be forced to be armed and putting their lives at risk. The thing is, not every staff member should be armed, and it's only the people that are willing to be armed and the people that are willing to be put through a very intense and detailed firearm class that will be the armed ones. The staff that is armed also does not need to be made public, so not everyone will know which staff member is armed and which staff members aren't. All the students would need to know is that there is extra armed personnel in the building that are trained and willing to protect our students against mentally unstable school shooters. It is a very sad reality that this is what our society has came down to, but the times are changing and the schools and the society must keep up with the times. Arming school staff is a step that must be taken to protect America's children from the terrorizing fear of being an innocent victim in a school shooting. Overall, the fact of being an innocent victim of an uncontrollable act made by a mentally unstable or mentally ill person is a reality of today's children that they have to face and deal with. As a parent, it is our job to protect our children as best as we can, and doing so is allowing more armed and well personnel on a school campus. We protect our banks, our movie stars, sporting events from incidents like this. We should not be reluctant to protect our children in the same way, or even more. It is sad to say, but if a school shooting happened in our area, 12 minutes of live fire that would occur before the police arrive, our children would be wishing and praying that parents push to put more armed personnel in their school. Thank you.